An early retirement incentive program is not going over well with some state workers. It's just one of many controversial proposals being hammered out at the Capitol as lawmakers try to handle the budget. And we're going to take a look at some solutions for children living with autism that do not require medication. Welcome to The Real Story. I'm Lori Perez. The state budget battle rages on, and while there are many differences of opinion on any number of suggestions, one of the most widely watched is Governor Rell's offer to help balance the state budget by offering an early retirement incentive program to as many as 8,000 state employees. Now, union reps and the governor's reps met to talk about it a few days ago, and the meeting stalled. Here's what Governor Rell had to say about the breakdown moments afterwards. She said the governor is extremely disappointed that the union summarily rejected any consideration, her words, of the early retirement plan to save $65 million in state budget costs. She is also disappointed that CBAC would allow the administration to put alternative cost-saving measures, to put cost-saving measures on the table. Governor Rell believes it is a time for renewed respect and cooperation, not intractability and hyperbole. It is a heated issue, and we have crowded in here today to try to clear some of it up. Welcome to current reporter John Lender, Patrice Peterson, who is a school teacher and a union member, and Executive Director of Council 4, Sal Luciano. Thanks, all of you, for coming. It is a very heated issue, and let's start out with there's some question about whether or not the lawmakers can put this through without the endorsement of the union. Sal?
Yeah, we believe that they cannot.
Why is that?
Well, because it's negotiated under the CBAC rules. In 2003, when John Rowland did it with the legislature, there was a ruling that it violated the contract, but it was constitutional. There was some back and forth, but we clearly feel that it's not precedential and that we are required to be partners in that discussion.
Patrice, why would you object to them offering it? I mean, if people want to take early retirement, why shouldn't they?
We never said that we were not interested in having the discussion. We were interested in having a full discussion with the impact numbers, with how much is this going to cost in the future, how much of the liability is going to be put on the pension fund and then pushed off on our children and our grandchildren, and the state didn't have any of those numbers ready for us. So we were asking for the numbers, we pushed for the numbers, and they didn't have their job done. They weren't ready to have a full discussion with us.
In deference to the governor, she wasn't there, so we did not say no. We had some significant concerns. I sit on the governor's Executive Order 38 because she's concerned about the pension and its underfunding. And it's a legitimate concern. I sit on that. And we talk about the underfunding. In large measure, it's underfunded because of other ERIPs, early retirement incentive programs. So it didn't make a lot of sense, since we have this underfunding, largely caused by other early retirement incentive programs, for there to be another offer. And so when that was discussed, and we said we believe conservatively it puts $1.2 billion on the pension fund to save $60 million, it didn't seem to make a whole lot of sense. We offered other alternatives back in January that we think save over $100 million, but they did not want to discuss those. They got up and they said, we will take it as a no, and they stormed out of the room. So that's where we are with that.
Why should this really be the union's determination, though? I mean, you have 1,000, maybe a couple of thousand union members who want to do this now. They're 52 years old and they could take advantage of it. Why is it up to the union and not the legislature to make this decision? Why should it be? I mean,
well, I'm one of those people. I'm 53 years old. I have 32 years of state service. So I absolutely would qualify to be able to go under this plan. I believe that it is absolutely irresponsible for me to think that two things. One is that our public services, the services that those 2,000 people provide, will be done in a quality fashion in the future. I've lived the past year in state service since the last retirement plan, and I know what it feels like. I know what it looks like. And they have not done the planning. They haven't done the refills that they said that they were going to do in order for services to remain quality services now. We're struggling. We're doing everything we can. I got a call from a woman who works in my unit on a Sunday morning. She was at work trying to get the job done. We can't get it done now. If we lose 2,000 more people, they say they're going to fill half those positions. That takes an incredibly long period of time. They haven't filled the positions from last July yet.
Well, a lot of people would agree with you that those are laudable sentiments, but again, isn't it the legislature's job to make this determination? Why do you think the union should be the one that determines this?
We have a statutory requirement to bargain on behalf of our members. The retirement and the pension and the health care fund is the responsibility of the unions under collective bargaining. It is a collective bargaining issue. It should remain a collective bargaining issue, not a legislative issue. And they should be coming to the table with us and in CBAC.
So just to be clear, is your main point that the benefit of such a plan would have a greater cost in the long run? So that's your main objection?
One of the big objections, and it is accurate that the Connecticut pension system is one of the worst funded in the country. One of the reasons it's the worst funded in the country is precisely because of previous early retirement incentive programs that saved a few $1 million in the general fund and put hundreds of millions of dollars. In this case, we think it's 1.2 to 1.4 billion. We think that the state should come to the table knowing what the number is. When we asked them that, they didn't know last night. And not only should they know as a matter of public policy, they should know as a matter of their responsibility under CBAC 2005.
Do you have any understanding with the Democrats? I mean, the union's pretty close with the Democrats who control the legislature, that they won't approve this ERIP, early retirement plan, without the union's agreement?
What we're hoping is that somebody will be a grown-up in this situation and look at a $30 billion budget and $60 million in short-term savings. That's a rounding error. You know, they could find that money. When you're already in a huge hole, they tell you to stop digging. And so the pension system is in a very big hole. Why would you want to add 1.2 or 1 to 1.4, maybe more, in liability?
So what are some of the other alternatives that you're suggesting that you said you brought up in January?
We have both short-term and long-term plans. One of the things that we suggested is, God forbid, the state allow some of the frontline workers to make some suggestions. They're the ones that would see on a day-to-day basis some things that are inefficient or wasteful and could make suggestions. They don't even want to listen to that. One of the things that we think would save an awful lot of money is, because the pension system is so underfunded, to provide the slightest, smallest additional incentive for people to stay longer. If people stay longer, the closer they get to 65, the less their health care will cost when they retire, the less amount of time they're retired, and the less liability for the pension system. We feel that these are not only responsible, they're good public policy.
So you think this early retirement plan goes through this session?
I don't know. As I said, I'm hoping somebody's the adult in this situation.
We'll know in a week.
And you guys, I'm sure, will be aggressively voicing your opinion.
Well, and again, if the governor really wants to sit down in good faith, I think there's a lot of ways we can save money. We're trying to help. We're trying to be part of the solution. Last year, we came up with $750 million in savings. No small feat.
Okay, well, thank you very much for coming and giving us some perspective on this continuing budget battle. Up next, thanks again to reporter John Lender, also to the union representatives. Up next, there's lots more to talk about going on at the Capitol. The session ends May 5th, and they have a lot to do, but will they?